When news breaks of a missile test, it's easy to see it as distant, a matter for experts and politicians. But these events are rooted in decades of tension and unresolved conflict on the Korean peninsula. Since the Korean War armistice in 1953, the North and South have lived in a fragile peace, punctuated by moments of crisis and military escalation. Each missile test is a reminder of that uneasy truce. South Korea's recent missile test is more than a headline. It's a story about real people living with uncertainty, especially families near the border who have grown up with the constant threat of conflict. This isn't just geopolitics, it's about the daily hopes and anxieties of millions. For many, the sound of sirens or the flash of breaking news brings back memories of past crises. For every missile launched, there are parents planning for a future that feels increasingly uncertain. Children practice air raid drills, and families discuss emergency plans, never sure what tomorrow will bring. Experts say these tests are not just about military strength, they're messages to the world. Analysts point out that each launch is carefully timed, often in response to international events or diplomatic talks. We'll explore what happened, why it matters now, and why women's perspectives are essential to understanding what national security truly means. Female experts and community leaders are increasingly shaping the conversation. Behind every strategic choice are people whose lives hang in the balance. The story of a missile launch is, at its core, a story about the human cost of conflict and the hope for lasting peace. In January 2026, South Korea quietly conducted a significant test of its new, domestically developed missile system, a move that drew attention from defense analysts worldwide. The process began before dawn, as military engineers and technicians assembled at a secure test site. The missile was carefully fueled, guidance systems were calibrated, and a series of safety checks were performed to ensure everything was ready. As the countdown reached zero, the missile, believed to be a next-generation Hyunmoo-5 with a range of up to 3,000 kilometers and a payload capacity of 8 tons, was launched under strict observation. Real-time telemetry data was monitored to track its trajectory and performance. The missile soared into the sky, successfully completing all programmed flight stages, including mid-course maneuvering and simulated target impact. Military officials confirmed that the test met all technical objectives. After the test, South Korean defense officials held a closed-door briefing, emphasizing that the exercise was not about provocation, but about deterrence and readiness. Internationally, the test sparked immediate reactions. Japan and the United States expressed support for South Korea's right to self-defense, while China and North Korea voiced concerns about regional stability. While many technical details remain classified, officials highlighted the missile's advanced guidance, solid fuel propulsion, and improved reliability. The focus was on precision and defensive capability, not on building weapons of mass destruction. For the South Korean public, the test was a calculated step to strengthen self-defense and reassure citizens. Internationally, it sent a clear message: South Korea is committed to maintaining peace through strength and technological advancement. South Korea's new missile system marks a leap in defense technology, representing a shift in military doctrine that values accuracy and control over sheer destructive force. Prioritizing precision over brute force, these advanced missiles are equipped with state-of-the-art guidance systems, often using GPS, inertial navigation, and even real-time data links to adjust their trajectory mid-flight. This means they can strike high-value or mobile targets with pinpoint accuracy, minimizing collateral damage and civilian risk, an advantage over older, less discriminating ballistic systems. Compared to North Korea's arsenal, which often relies on older, less precise technology, South Korea's precision missiles offer a significant tactical edge. Their extended range allows threats to be addressed from farther away, complicating North Korea's calculations and reducing the window for retaliation. Likely using solid fuel technology, these missiles can be launched within minutes, crucial for rapid response and survivability in a crisis, and a notable improvement over liquid-fueled systems that require lengthy preparation. This isn't about an arms race, it's about smarter, more effective deterrence. Precision technology allows South Korea to neutralize threats with minimal escalation, sending a clear message without resorting to overwhelming force. The goal: make aggression too costly for any adversary, while maintaining the ability to respond proportionally and avoid unnecessary conflict. By investing in precision-guided systems, South Korea is building a security environment that prioritizes stability and the protection of civilians, rather than provoking its neighbors. This approach not only protects people and infrastructure, but also reduces the risk of escalation, offering a model for responsible defense in a tense region. The timing of South Korea's missile test was no coincidence. It came as a direct response to North Korea's provocative hypersonic missile launch just days earlier, but also reflected a broader shift in the region's security landscape. North Korea's move, personally overseen by Kim Jong-un, was designed to disrupt ongoing diplomatic efforts and assert dominance ahead of a critical summit between South Korea and China. The timing was calculated to send a message not just to Seoul, but to Beijing and Washington as well. Pyongyang's actions signaled a hardening stance, leaving Seoul with fewer diplomatic options and increasing pressure on South Korea's leadership to respond decisively. South Korea's test was a clear countersignal. We see your moves, and we're prepared. The government wanted to demonstrate both military readiness and political resolve, especially as public anxiety grew over recent escalations. The timing also aimed to reassure the public, showing that the government was taking concrete steps to protect national security. It reminded North Korea, and the world, that any aggression would be met with a firm, measured response. With regional tensions rising and diplomatic channels narrowing, the timing of the test was crucial for maintaining balance, deterring further provocations, and signaling unwavering resolve to allies and adversaries alike. Ultimately, it demonstrated that South Korea won't be intimidated, caught off guard, or left behind in the rapidly shifting dynamics of Northeast Asia. Footage of the missile launch revealed not just advanced technology and intent, but a carefully crafted message to the world. The missile's clean vertical ascent showed stability and engineering mastery, an unmistakable signal of South Korea's growing capabilities. Rapid acceleration, thanks to solid fuel, makes it harder to track and intercept, sending a warning to potential adversaries about the difficulty of neutralizing such threats. Advanced guidance allows for course corrections, ensuring pinpoint accuracy. This demonstrates not just deterrence but the ability to strike with precision if necessary. This isn't a blunt weapon, it's a surgical tool, one that communicates technological sophistication and strategic restraint. Every aspect of the launch projected quiet confidence and technological superiority, reinforcing South Korea's position on the global stage. The message, South Korea can defend itself with precision and reliability, was clear, but it also carried diplomatic weight. The launch was a statement to both friends and adversaries, without a word spoken. Neighboring countries took notice. Japan expressed concern over regional stability, while China called for restraint. The United States reaffirmed its alliance, interpreting the test as a sign of shared resolve. In contrast, North Korea condemned the launch, viewing it as provocation. Each response underscored the diplomatic ripple effect of South Korea's demonstration, proof that a missile test can speak volumes in international relations. South Korea's missile test was a carefully calculated signal aimed at three distinct audiences: North Korea, its allies, and the broader international community. Each group interprets the test through its own lens, and each is affected in unique ways. For North Korea, the message is direct and unmistakable. South Korea is prepared to respond to any provocation with advanced capabilities and unwavering resolve. The test serves as a deterrent, reminding Pyongyang that escalation will be met with strength, not hesitation. For allies like the US and Japan, the test is reassurance. It demonstrates that South Korea is not a passive player, but a proactive and capable partner, ready to shoulder responsibility for its own defense and contribute meaningfully to regional security. This bolsters trust and deepens military cooperation. The result is a stronger, more unified alliance network, with South Korea positioned as a key pillar in the region's security architecture. For the international community, especially China, the test is a warning and a wake-up call. It signals that North Korea's continued provocations are driving South Korea to enhance its military posture, which in turn raises the stakes for everyone in the region. China, in particular, is reminded that stability depends on restraining its ally in Pyongyang. The missile test, therefore, is more than a show of force. It's a complex message, a deterrent to adversaries, a reassurance to friends, and a diplomatic nudge to the world's major powers. By leveraging hard power, South Korea is shaping the political environment, aiming to prevent conflict before it starts, and ensuring its voice is heard in regional security debates. In doing so, South Korea demonstrates its ability to balance strength with diplomacy, navigating a complex world stage and influencing the calculations of all three audiences. Missile tests aren't just about policy, they shape daily life for families, especially women. For many, the fear is personal. Ji-yeon, a mother in Seoul, describes how every siren sends her heart racing, making her question if her children are truly safe at school. The threat from the north creates constant anxiety, influencing decisions about where to live, work, and raise children. Teachers like Ms. Park talk about the emotional toll of frequent drills and how children ask questions no parent or educator wants to answer. When deterrence fails, women and children suffer most: displacement, economic hardship, and family separation. Mrs. Kim, now a grandmother, recalls the pain of leaving home behind, a memory that shapes her hopes for her grandchildren's future. Investments in credible defense are protective measures, aiming to prevent these worst-case scenarios. Experts like Dr. Lee stress that a strong defense is not just about military might, but about safeguarding families from unimaginable loss. Yet, every defense dollar is one less for social programs, creating tough choices. Social workers like Min Seo see firsthand how funding shifts can mean fewer resources for childcare, education, and mental health support. For South Korea, defense is a necessity to allow society to function and thrive. Working mothers like Hana juggle careers and family, all while navigating the ever-present shadow of security threats. Women's voices are vital in these conversations, as security decisions deeply affect family and community well-being. Community leaders emphasize that including women in policy discussions leads to more comprehensive and compassionate solutions. A credible deterrent is the silent guardian of hopes for a peaceful future. For every family, and especially for women, security is not just about safety, it's about the promise of a life where dreams can flourish, even in uncertain times. South Korea's missile test took place against a backdrop of mounting instability, not just on the Korean peninsula, but across the globe. North Korea's rapid military expansion and asymmetric tactics, such as GPS jamming, continue to raise alarms for South Korea and its allies. Meanwhile, South Korea faces internal challenges, including a shrinking pool for military service due to a declining birth rate. This demographic shift is accelerating investment in advanced military technology, automation, and AI to offset the reduced number of available soldiers. Globally, recent security incidents, like the ongoing war in Ukraine, escalating tensions in the Middle East, attacks in the Red Sea, and high-profile cyber attacks, have heightened a sense of vulnerability and unpredictability. In response, alliances are being tested and strengthened. South Korea's cooperation with the US, NATO's renewed focus, and new security partnerships like AUKUS and the Quad all reflect a shifting landscape of international relations. In this environment, nations are increasingly relying on their own strength and on collective defense, preparing for scenarios where global support may be uncertain or delayed. South Korea's missile test is a signal in a world where traditional security norms are fraying, and where international institutions struggle to keep pace with new threats. Ultimately, it's a defensive move in a region, and a world, on edge, with far-reaching implications for how nations perceive threats and build alliances in an era of uncertainty. It's tempting to tune out stories about missile tests, but South Korea's launch has real consequences for millions. Every time we choose to pay attention, we take the first step toward understanding and action. Understanding these events is an act of global citizenship. Instability anywhere can affect us all. By staying informed, we become part of a worldwide network of people who care about peace and security. For women, staying informed is empowering, bringing vital perspectives to security debates. Sharing knowledge, asking questions, and supporting each other's voices can shift the conversation and inspire change. Knowing the context behind a missile test helps us move beyond headlines and engage meaningfully. We can join local forums, attend public lectures, or simply start conversations with friends and family. South Korea's launch was a defensive, calculated move to deter aggression and reassure allies. By understanding these motives, we can hold leaders accountable and demand transparency. It's a reminder that peace requires vigilance, smart diplomacy, and an informed public. We can write to our representatives, support organizations working for peace, and encourage respectful dialogue in our communities. By understanding the stakes, we can advocate for responsible leadership and peaceful solutions. Every action, big or small, adds up. The quest for security is a story that belongs to all of us. Stay curious, stay engaged, and remember, your attention is a powerful tool for change.